Okay, so this is a test with Mark Bunker. I've been trying to do something where I can interview someone for about 4 years. And now I'm hoping that I sent Mark the invitation. So I'm hoping that he comes. I don't know what happened. Hey, you guys, hi. I'm trying to get Mark on here. Now, just a second. It says invite someone. So you have to, oh my God, there's a whole bunch of people. All right, copy. And let's see. Oh, here's copy. Okay, let's just do this. We'll just send him a new one. I already sent him one, but copy. Mark Bunker. There he is. Okay. Okay, now I'm trying to see if guests can stream this to their own. Okay, that's a thing. Okay. Bunky, where are you? Well, everybody else is here. I got this. I just watched his re-uploading of Dancing in Boston and his comments. I wrote, he comes on your channel. I hope he comes on your channel soon. Me too. Let's see. Let's see if this does it. No, that didn't work. I'll call him. I know. I love that too when Aaron said that. Tori beat you to YouTube or to live streaming, he said. Because Bunky's been on YouTube forever. Now he's not answering. Excuse me. I don't know. That doesn't help. Pardon me. Just wanted to introduce myself. Hi, Lynette. Thank you guys for everybody who went and watched Mark and I. We were going to try to do a thing where I can invite him, but it doesn't seem to be. I've sent it to him. I think I did. All right, let's send him a new one. I'll torture him. All right. Mark Bunker. Okay, he knows that I'm going to do this. For some reason. No, oh, now I lost all of you. StreamYard. I don't want to do that again. No. Okay, well, he's not answering the phone. I could send him a text. That's what I'll do. I'm really sorry, you guys. Funky, this must be a bad day for you. Anyway, it's me trying to get in touch with you. And so we can finish this because there's a whole bunch of people online now. All right. Anyway, I got to go. Bye. Okay, I guess he's not coming online. So let's see. Let's just do a Q&A. You guys ask me whatever you want to ask me. I'm going to go from the top because I wasn't planning on this. We were planning on doing a live stream kind of where I could finally interview someone because I've been trying to interview someone for 4 years. But no one has been able to successfully get this going, including me. So anyway, let's talk because you guys are all here. Hi, love it. Anyway, thank you for coming, each of you. Hello. Not my name. I love that. Raby, hi. Tori, that is sorry. Okay, not my name. Hi. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry too, because I really was hoping for this. But I know Mark, he probably has some kind of emergency. Ben Nevitz, hi. Okay, and One Love, you just watched the upload of Dancing with Boston. That's good. I wrote some in your channel too. Okay, good. So I'll watch that. I love when yeah, I know. I love that when Aaron said that. That cracked me up. I think it motivated Mark to get started. I really do. Because it was so like, no, no, it can't be. Tori Magoo is ahead of me? No way. So he was on the next day. But that's good because, I mean, he knows, he's an Emmy award winning editor. So he knows how to edit videos. And his first video, you can already see he's putting stuff up. I don't know how to do that at all. I don't even know how to interview people. I've spent 4 years trying to learn that. And you'd think, with all these tech people, you'd think somebody would go, I'll come over and show you. Please, if you're in the LA area, you are invited over to my home to help me learn how to do this. If you know how to do that. If you don't, I don't want to waste your time. Okay. Yayos, be sure to check email. I sent you about Amazon wish list. Oh, the Amazon wish list. Okay. All right. Thank you. I will. I will definitely check my email. I was going to just say, call him. Yep. You were right. Hi, Tori. All right. We already said that. Hi. This is the Elk of Antioch. It's okay, Tori. Every streamer has to learn the basics. Live. Every streamer learns in front of an audience. Thank you for that reminder. That I appreciate that because it's true. It's a learning experience, and as long as you guys understand it, then it really helps because it does feel really awkward. It's like, oh, it's like you're used to doing something where it's right, and then when it's sort of like not really right, it feels awkward that I've included you. We were trying to do a test, but I don't see anywhere on mine where it says you can test it. I don't. There probably is somewhere, but I don't see where it says. Um, so anyway, then I thought, well, I'll just do a live stream and include Mark, not knowing that he won't come on. I thought Mark and Tori were just on live. We were. Marla, he was going to try to teach me how. I'm trying to learn how to do this split screen thing so I can interview you guys, anybody all over the world with that going. But so we were going to go on again just as a test, but I couldn't find the test. And I thought, well, Mark's going to be on it anyway. I'll just interview him, like as a first interview thing. Because nobody ever interviews him. He films everybody and interviews them. So I thought, well, I could interview him. I spy an anonymous mask. You are right, Raby. That is correct. So hello to everyone. There's 37 people here because it's not midnight with Magoo. This is a little bit of, oh, Funky, you're there. Oh my God. It happened.
Hooray!
I did it. I can't believe it. I'm so
Congratulations to you. I'm sorry I
this,
was in the other room with some videos there, so I
oh,
apologize.
this is so exciting. I just can't tell you. I've been telling them I've been trying to do this for 4 years. And many different people have. I mean, it used to have old software, so people have told me now it's much easier now, and it obviously is. I mean, you came on. This is so
Yep,
great.
here I am.
I sent you the email, and here you are. I
You
love
look
it.
a lot better on your camera too, or I look goofy, but here, look, I'm sexy,
You
like
do. You
George
look.
Clooney.
You do. You.
I'm
I've got
distinguished here.
it's the lighting. See, I changed my lighting, so it isn't.
Mm.
A lot of it is in the advanced settings, and I change it so it's a little bit darker, and then you look better. When you're all white, it looks weird, and that's
All
how
right.
it's set. It's kind of set for that. So just fiddle around with the advanced settings after we get off with your camera.
Okay.
There you
All
go.
right.
That's why you look sexy, and you are sexy, of course.
Well, oh yeah, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Okay, so question, Tori, what are your goals this year? Oh, please. No, not going to get into that. My goals this year are to learn live streaming. That's really what I want to learn, and learn how to interview people. And Mark Bunker is my first interview that I'm going to do. You weren't planning on that, but that's what's actually going to happen. Is that and who was the girl who was in Boston? That's Stacy Brooks, who helped start the Lisa McPherson Trust with Bob and Jesse and really Mark, because Mark was there too. Right? Do you figure
Yep.
you feel
I
like
was there.
you were part of it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like they were kind of they helped start it. And so anyway, hi Mark, welcome to the live stream. Hello. So tell us about how because you were never in, right? I mean, let me just do a little bit of a preamp. Mark was someone that I met when I escaped out. Actually, I met him before then. We clarified that because I was handling Mark when I was in, trying to get rid of him. And he really, I have to say, you stuck with it. You really did. Because I didn't do this, but some guys chased you all the way to the freeway entrance or something.
Yeah, that was Dan Mernon. I followed him, actually. He led me down there. Yeah.
Oh.
As what had happened that afternoon, this was the 4th of July.
Right.
And there was a big festival on L. Ron Hubbard Way in LA on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of July. And there was a huge banner across the street that said, "All welcome, except for me." So they kept trying to chase me away. The first day, it was 3 people doing a gangbang sec check. Then the next day, I remember somebody grabbing my camera. But on the 4th, that afternoon, Dan Mernon, who had picketed my home in the past, I had moved to a new place, and he showed up at the new place. And some of my neighbors said, you had a friend from out of town asking about you, just wondering where you live. And I said, okay, let me show you something. And I ran back the tape of these goons, and they, oh yeah, that's the guy. So my friend from out of town never bothered knocking on the door and saying hi. It was Dan just trying to find out where I live now. So I saw him, and I came there specifically because I wanted to ask Dan why he was doing that. And he was in hiding until like right at the end of the evening. He walked out of Big Blue and started walking down the street, and I just followed him, talking to him. I had printed out some things from a website page that he had up. There were these spam pages where you could pick your favorite L. Ron Hubbard quote from like 5 different choices, and you can say what you won, what your wins were. And he was talking about communication on his page. So I had all that in my hand as I was following with my camera, reading to him about how he should he says he's able to confront anything. Well, why are you running, Dan? Why? And we went walking all the way down to the freeway, and before I gave up and said, that's it. And I'd mentioned on the video that we just watched over on my live stream that they took down one of my videos in the past because it had a song that Rosemary Clooney sang. And at that point, it was a copyright violation that 3 of those and you would be booted off YouTube entirely.
Right.
So I took it down. But now, since then, they've changed the rules so that you can keep the video up, but the owners of the right to the music, they get any profit from ads. So that's a trade-off for me. I wanted to have a good quality copy of your Magoo dancing in Boston video. So I said, let them have the money. Who needs money, for God's sakes? I've got the glory of having Tori Christman in full 4K, delighting people across the globe. So, but that was this was another video that was taken down because of copyright issues. Because as I was following Dan down the street, I noticed I was shooting like his feet walking for a while, and I noticed this reminded me so much of a certain movie from John Travolta. So I got the music from Saturday Night Fever, and I put that. You tell by the way I move and it matched perfectly. But that was something that they forced me to take down. But now I should be able to put it back up again and just let them earn the money.
Well, I have to say, you came across so professionally from the minute I saw you, and kind. You know, it's like, remember there was the German guy that I really didn't like, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know
he went
why.
by the name of Don Knotts.
Oh, is that his name?
N-O-T-S. Yeah. So a
He
play
was
on.
so mean. And you were the opposite. You were just like kind of this kind person. And both Harold and I came home and we said, we really like Bunker. You know, you may be on the other side, but we really liked you. And that was, I thought, very impressive that you were.
Well, I was saying the same thing about you two.
Aw.
I was.
I know. I think we
In
became.
fact, you know, at the Shrine Auditorium, when we were doing this arthritis thing, I say at one point that I love you, and he went, "Oh yeah, yeah." So, but I did. I was very fond of you two.
Yeah, we liked you too. We couldn't admit it in front of anybody, but we did. We came home and said we really like Bunker.
What can you not like me?
I know. But how did you meet Bob and Stacy? I mean, how did that happen?
I sent an email to them at one point in toward the end of '98, I think it was. Bob and Stacy rescued FactNet, which was an early website where former Scientologists were putting up, you know, confidential copyrighted material. And 3 of the leaders of FactNet had their homes raided. Lawrence Wollersheim,
Arnie,
Bob Penny. Was Arnie one of them? Arnie, yeah, Arnie, yeah, okay. So it wasn't Wollersheim this time. He owned FactNet, but his home wasn't raided. Bob Penny, Arnie, and Dennis Clark, who lived about 10 blocks away from me at that point.
Oh.
And this was before I really, you know, went out and started shooting any video about Scientology. I was just looking into it. And I read in our local little newspaper that this guy, what's that?
In Wisconsin?
No, this was in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, no, in Glendale, I think it was. Yeah. No, I don't remember exactly where now. But
you were in California.
I was in California. Yeah. And I read in the paper how Scientologists and their attorneys raided this guy's home just 10 blocks away from me. And I thought that, wow. And then I met Dennis a little later, and we became friends. And he gave me a videotape that the local Fox affiliate had shot, all the raw video of the Scientology attorneys rifling through his stuff and taking his hard drives and all those things
Wow.
with them. And I put that online back in 98. And from him, he introduced me to some other people. Not to be as long-winded and dull as I usually am, but I'll ramble for a little bit more. Um, he introduced me to Priscilla Coates, who was
Big
one of the heads of the Cult Awareness Network. Um, and at that point, she was working with a different group. And at her home on Sunday afternoons, she had like an informal session with people from all various cults, not just Scientology. But
right.
Dennis invited me to that, and I went along and met her and enjoyed that experience. There was one woman there who said that she read the OT3 material once it was handcuffed to her, and she was taken to the room to read it.
Right.
And she read it and then went, "What the hell?" and got out of Scientology at that moment.
Right.
I'm sure she didn't, walk out the door right then and say, "Hey, take your crap back." But that was when she decided, I'm no longer interested in being part of this. So that was interesting. And and then because their homes were raided and FactNet was being sued for having copyrighted material on the web, Bob came in and defended them. And
Oh.
he and Stacy sat down with the Scientology attorneys that ultimately he sat down with again when he tried to get extricated from fighting. But he sat down with them and fashioned a settlement so FactNet could continue doing their fine work. And then Bob became the chairman of the board of that for a while, and Stacy was on that. And he announced, and this is the long-winded story that was leading up to this little piece of information. He announced
Okay.
on Alt Religion Scientology that he and Stacy were now, board members of FactNet.
Right.
And I emailed him and said, "Hey, if there's anything I can do to help, I've got video equipment. I've been putting video on the web anonymously." And they called immediately and invited me to hop on a plane the next weekend, come
Wow.
out to Connecticut, where they were attending one of these cult awareness seminars, or I forget what it's called, but it was like a 3-day event where family members of loved ones who are lost into many different cults were coming and having lectures and things. James Randi, the amazing Randy, was there. I met him at that point. And Bob had a small mini camera, good quality, that he put in my hands, and I just followed them around through the entire weekend and shot a lot of candid footage and shot some seminars, things like that. And at the end of it, I said, because I didn't have a camera at that point, I asked Bob if he'd be interested in providing me a camera and some editing equipment so I could do this right. And yeah, he did. He set me up with a professional camera and some really good equipment to be doing the job at that point. So I would occasionally, through 99, see them. One time was at and it was in the middle of the year in Boulder, Colorado, I believe. And they were discussing the fact that they were going to open up this Lisa McPherson Foundation, and they were talking about who was part of it, and they didn't mention me, and I was kind of going, oh damn it, I'd really like to be a part of that, but they're not interested, I guess. And then in December, Bob and Stacy were in Clearwater
This was in
protesting.
December 99?
99, right. They were trying to find a place for the LMT to exist. And by that point, Scientology had knew that what the plans were, and they copyrighted or got the rights to the Lisa McPherson Foundation, so we couldn't call it that. And Bob ultimately called it the Lisa McPherson Trust, which then the Scientologists all went, this is not a trust. This is yeah, well, it's still your worst nightmare.
Yep.
But while they were there in early December, Bob had this incident where he had been followed all day by one of these Scientology security guards. He had been met at the airport in Boston. When he got on the plane, he was met with more Scientologists protesting him at the airport in Tampa when he arrived. Then he got to the Fort Harrison, and Richard Howard was there with his camera following Bob everywhere. And Bob was crossing the street to talk on his phone, and Richard Howard was right behind him. And Bob turned around and had his protest sign, which he turned sideways and just kind of shoved him away. And Howard overreacted to it, spun around and collapsed to the ground.
Oh my God.
And this bevy of Scientologists come running out of the Fort Harrison, surrounding him, not saying a word, of course, because, don't want to give him engrams. But I mean, it's really fascinating to see them all standing over him, doing nothing. So Bob had to stand trial for that.
Wow.
He was accused of assault. And when that happened, Stacy said, we need Mark here to be videotaping, to make sure we capture something like this.
Good.
Make sure we prevent Bob from being in this situation again. So that's when they said, hey, you want to come here? And I said, yes. And immediately flew down there. It was the most exciting 2 years of my life. Fascinating.
Yeah, it was amazing. I remember sitting in Greg and Deborah Barnes's living room. Mark was there with his camera, but he wasn't filming. And there were 4 of us. It was the Barneses, Peter, Alexander, and me. And we were all sharing stories about our OT7 and OT8, which are the top part of the triangles of Scientology. And Scientology says it's all standard tech. It's like everything's the same for every person. But each one of us had totally different stories. And I said to you, Mark, you've got to turn on the camera and film this, because nobody knows this. And you did. And I think it's called OT Speaking Freely, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something
I have to dig that one out. I have to.
But that was just shocking, because it was, and that went around. It really had a lot of. I think Anonymous, because I asked them why did you, because I went from 0 to 10,000 subscribers in one day with Anonymous. And I said, what happened? And they said, you were the only video that we liked, so they just boofed it all over the place. And I was the most talked about and the most, written about and everything for 6 months.
You're adorable.
Well, it was really funny because I had said, you saw that on Magoo Dancing in Boston. I said, there's an army out here. And that's what Anonymous loved. They said, you predicted it, Magoo. And I didn't predict them, but I certainly predicted that, there is an army out here. And boy,
I don't think any of us could have predicted the TikTokers.
No.
This is another step, even above Anonymous in some ways.
Which thing?
The TikTok people doing the live streaming
The live streams. Yeah.
in LA and now everywhere.
I know.
Um,
I know.
I'm
It's
always,
just so.
it's like Where's Waldo with Aaron. Aaron seems to be hopping on a plane to protest or videotape and harass whatever in cities all around the world. So
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
he's always on the go.
Well, you will be soon.
I did go down and meet a lot of the folks who came in from all around the country and the world
I saw.
to have the little get together here in Clearwater, and
Yeah,
I got
you
to
look
meet
good.
some. Yeah, I met some people I hadn't met before, like Jenna Miscavige Hill. It was nice meeting her.
Yeah.
All sorts of nice people, and people who have said, "Hey, I'm I'll be a moderator for your live streams," and she's going to start doing that the next time we
There you
have
go.
a video.
That's perfect.
Somebody else is a good editor, so we may be working on some projects together.
Good. Well, good for you. I'm really happy you're doing this because, like I said, you have endless content. How many people would you say you've interviewed estimately?
I would say it's shy of 50 probably.
That's it?
On my tour around the country for the filming of Knowledge Report,
Oh,
which still we're going to work on. I think I did 34 interviews for that. And really,
yeah.
a documentary, you normally have 5, maybe 8 interviews for a feature-length film. I just decided to get everybody's stories
Yep.
and get as much detail from them as they could. So I've got some really terrific footage that hasn't been seen yet.
But
That
you
will come out.
also, along with that, because those were very professionally done. I remember you interviewed me, and you had a crew, and it was a different thing. But I'm just talking about. You remember in 2000? I
Yeah,
mean, you were just interviewing tons of people.
Sure. Well, I'm trying to think.
I mean, you interviewed Astra Woodcraft. I remember
That's true.
that. Seeing
That's
that.
true. That was Bob and Stacy. There were the Woodcraft family and Maria Pia Gardini, Italian
Right.
woman whose grown child, had gone into the Sea Org and died of a drug overdose, I think. And then they got their hooks into her, and she joined the Sea Org, and she was rich.
Oh.
She was still living like a Sea Org member, but they knew she had money. So every Thursday morning, they would take her to a room in the basement of the Fort Harrison Hotel and lock her there until she signed a check for $10,000.
Wow.
Every week.
Wow.
So she came and shared her stories. There weren't that many other people. There were, Greg and Deborah Barnes and Peter and Patricia occasionally did some video.
Yeah,
I talked to maybe 3 or 4 people when we were in Leipzig, Germany. I got their stories.
Yeah.
So
Greg, and it's ironic because they've left this whole thing. I mean, she went on to another cult. I don't know if you know that, but she did.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know if she's still in it, but she left, and they divorced, and then she went into another cult. And Greg, to this day, both of them, people mention the Greg and Deborah Barnes interview. Like he just said, it was impactful. It was.
Yeah. He contacted me a couple of years ago and wanted to do another video. He wanted to bring me down to, I don't know, Miami or wherever he was, but I wasn't able to do it at the time. I think this was around the triple bypass time. But it's nice to hear from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think everybody's happy to see now. We're all like, "Woohoo, Mark's back!" Because we missed you. I mean, it's the same thing for me. I was gone for a while, and everybody's been really friendly. You'll see, it's a really nice group of people.
I see that already.
Yeah. Now this, I'm going to just take a couple that people have highlighted. I remember back in the day, you had a funny alien filter. Oh, I did. Yeah, I had
Oh,
a
okay,
Xenu
yeah.
thing. Remember that?
Yes, I
Andreas
believe
taught
that.
me that, and I still, I don't know how I did it then, because
Well, that was one of those things that you could just push a button and it would turn you into a dog or
yeah,
whatever. And
right.
yeah,
And I was
those
like,
were
Xenu,
built-in filters in the camera software.
please hit the like button. That's from like that's my moderator. Love it. Meet Mark Bunker. Love it, Mark Bunker. Um, okay, this is nice. You two are OG legends. So happy to have you live streaming. I agree. I mean, I don't know about us being OG legends, but
Oh, come on, we are.
we've been around for a while. We
I'm a
definitely have.
national treasure, and by extension, you have some of that as well.
Thank you.
The glow coming off of me shines on you. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Mark Bunker, a great OG with Tori, a great OG. Great to be here for the first interview. Oh, yeah, this is my very first
oh
interview,
boy,
Mark.
wow, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Except for my throat. That's the other
I
thing I
know.
have to do.
Yeah,
Okay,
my
so,
voice is incredibly tired too.
okay, two OGs right here, Miss Tori and Wise Beardman. Why don't you explain to them how the Wise Beardman came about? Or I can, if you don't want to.
Well, I'm happy to talk about me. It's my favorite subject. Uh, this was when Anonymous came out, and they made this first really creepy video with just ominous music and clouds going by, and the Anonymous the Guy Fawkes mask saying Scientology, we're coming for you, and it was creepy. And then I went online and saw some people um, talking online about, hey, let's go to the parking lot and pour sugar in their gas tanks and all sorts of things like that. And I decided when I got home, I was working at one of the TV stations in San Diego, night shift, and I got home maybe around midnight or so. And I thought I'd turn on my camera and just give them some advice and say, listen, don't break the law. You do this smartly, because they can take you have to understand what Scientology is and what they do, because they can take a cherubic choir boy like me and paint me into a villainous cad that is a threat to all humanity. So you come out there with the Guy Fawkes masks, and they're going to be seriously coming after you. And there were anonymous people saying, well, if one of us falls, 10 more will rise. And I said in the video, well, that's good for the 10 of you who rise, but the one who, falls, the one who goes to prison for these pranks, it's not worth it. And then a couple anonymous members did spend some good amount of time in jail for some of these things. But I made that video and suggested doing it peacefully. You're calling the orgs, and you're scaring the poor young gals who work there at the reception desk. They don't know anything about this. They're just trying to get to their rice and beans and make their $50 a week. So I suggested, be smart about this. I talked about a couple of people who had legal problems. Who was it? There was the one fellow who went to prison, a friend of ours. Well, maybe it was before you. Geez, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he made a joke on alt religion Scientology about Tom Cruise missiles pointed at the gold base.
I know who you mean. I know who you mean.
And they took him, they took him to trial.
Yeah.
And
well, he escaped the country he escaped 3 countries, and then they got him back.
Yeah, he fled. Yeah, but in the trial, the judge would not allow any mention of Scientology. Um, all that the jury would hear about is that here's a religious bigot who's scaring members of this church, this peaceful, loving church, and he must be stopped. And if he could have uttered
Keith
the word
Henson.
Scientology at any point, the jury would have been on his side.
Keith Henson.
Yes, thank you.
Keith Henson.
So Keith had a problem where he just wouldn't follow smart suggestions. Like Bob said, I'll get you an attorney, but you have to listen to them.
Right.
You can't be going off being nuts on this. And he refused to do that. He would say, I don't want to live by these rules. Well, that's why you don't get an attorney to help you.
Yeah.
And ultimately he fled the country and was caught and brought back and spent a year behind bars at least. And was it worth it? No. So I kind of made that point to Anonymous, and I thought, well, they're going to watch this video and they're just going to come after me and destroy me. Who do I think I am? But instead, they listened and they said, hey, yeah, we got to pay attention to this guy. He's wise. And he has a beard. He's Wise Beardman.
That's
and
right.
Then it created all these memes about Wise Beardman. And I have friends from LA who were just astonished to see I had become a meme.
Yeah, you were. You really were. And you know my side of it, right?
Yes, I do. But tell me anyway, because I'm tired and I can't remember.
Okay, there was a guy, I can't remember the name of the book, but it was something like The Other Side of Tom Cruise. It was something about Tom Cruise that the guy had written, which was the darker side of Tom Cruise. Right. Don't go to sleep, Bunker.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm with you.
We'll only be a little bit more.
MU. I'm sorry.
We'll only be a little bit more. So I can't remember the name of the book, but it was something about Tom Cruise. And I thought, okay, I wrote on the internet, this is BS. This is just OSA trying to distract off that book. That's what I thought about Anonymous. I heard the video and I thought, nah. So they called me that night, with their masks on and everything. This is Anonymous. And I'm in my bedroom. I'm like, it totally freaked me out. Yeah. And then they put me on Skype and they told me their plans, which I'm not going to get into, but they weren't the greatest plans. I'll just say that. And I said, look, you guys are way out of your league. These guys are highly litigious and they will put you in prison if you do anything illegal. So they said, well, what?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So they said, well, what can we do? And I said, let's do a peaceful picket because you can't be arrested. We have a right to picket. So then the one guy said, okay, we'll meet you down at the complex. We're going to walk around it and see if we want to do it. So we did. There's a video online somewhere about it. We walked around. I showed them the different orgs, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, the guy said, okay, we'll have 500 people here on, what was it, February 10th?
I don't remember the date, but I remember it was remarkable.
Yeah. And so Mark and I, this is the funniest part though, Mark and I and one other guy, we decided to take the subway from Burbank down to the complex because then we don't have to worry about parking. So we get onto the subway, just thinking, we're going to get on the subway. They said we're going to have 500 people here on February 10th. And we thought, yeah, right. You're going to have 500 people here. So we get on the subway and there's like 10 or 15 guys, all with their masks on, all in black, sitting very peacefully. They're sitting there all in a row. And the rest of the subway is like this, like, totally freaked out. And I had that sign, Scientology, Stop Hurting Families. So I got on and I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're with these people. They're okay. Don't worry about it. We're picketing the Church of Scientology. And they all clapped. It was like the whole subway clapped. And then we got off thinking, well, that's anonymous. It's 10 people. That's 10 more than we usually have when we protest. So we were like, okay. And we get off and then we walked up to the complex and they had 500 people there. And it ended up being 9,000 around the world and almost every major city. It was incredible. It was an incredible thing to be a part of.
And even in small cities, there were people
Yeah.
showing up to protest at the same time everywhere across the planet. It was pretty remarkable, and they kept that up once a month for many, many months. But eventually you grow tired of it, and that war that came to a stop at some point. But Anonymous kept working on the internet to get the word out. And, it was just stunning to see the huge amounts of people that came out, and that gave the strength and courage to a lot of Scientologists to leave and tell their stories.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mark Hadley, we knew he was an executive because he was on Xenu.net on the chat board, but we didn't know who he was. And he was called Blown for Good, which he ended up writing a book about it, which is a great book if you haven't gotten it. But he came up to me and he goes, "I'm Mark Hadley, I'm blown for good. And this is my wife, Claire." So that was fun meeting them. And I met Jenna that day. And, we met a bunch of people that we knew them anonymously online, but it was fun to have them finally come out.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a big sea change. That was one of the 3 events that made a huge difference in the world of Scientology around that period. There
And
was
what are
that,
the other 2?
South Park, and Tom Cruise jumping on the couch. They all happened around the same period.
True. It's very true. I mean, he looked insane. I remember seeing that, and I thought, oh, who knows?
And I remember the Tom Cruise book you're talking about. It was a good book. He was a well-known biographer. He did a book on Lady Di that was scandalous and made a lot of news. So for him to take on Tom Cruise, that was good, and I enjoyed reading the book.
I haven't read it, but I met him. He flew in to interview
he was
people
at your
one of
party.
my parties. Yeah,
that's where I met him.
Oh, good.
At Tori's house.
At my house.
The celebrity, writers are all begging to get in. It's a hot ticket.
Hot ticket. All right, so here's a couple of comments. This is Mary Klein saying, "Reunited and it feels so good. This is cool for me right now." So that's good. And this is, "It's great to see the old guard sharing their stories from years ago. For all those new to the movement, I encourage you to check out the early days of protesting with Tori, Wise, Beardman, Stacy, and Bob." That's true. Mark's going to be coming out with a lot more good ones, so that'll be fun. All right, now here's one more. "Filming these events changed the rules for good. The moment the videos hit the web, it was game over for Scientology's one-sided lies to the general public." It's true. I mean, I love that Anonymous, remember that banner, "Fuck, the internet's here." That I have a picture of that. It's such a great, and it had all the Anonymous kids. It was like, oh, it's so great. So anyway, if you could give any of these new live streamers a message as far as anything, as far as filming or whatever, is there anything you want to say?
Oh, good Lord. I've got a lot to learn from them. I mean, it's a whole new world.
I know. So, I feel the same. They always ask me, what could we ask? And I say, if I knew what you could ask, everyone would be out of Scientology. I've been speaking out for 24 years and they're still in, the ones that, I mean, there's a lot of people that have left, but there's no one question that is going to get everybody to leave.
And I don't think that I have any other advice to give anyone except, even if I say, be nice, there'll be people who can be nasty and sarcastic and have great success doing that. So for me to say, hey, be like me, that's stupid, because there's so many ways to get the message out.
Yeah, there are.
Just don't commit crimes, please.
Yes, I agree.
But the it's amazing that we've got all these people now streaming live who are uh, it's just astonishing. I'm tired, so it's nice to see other people, you know, picking up the mantle and running and making it, exponentially better.
Yeah, much better and much bigger. It's so great.
Hmm.
I mean, and it's a really close-knit group of people too. They're all very nice. I mean, it's kind of outstanding to me. It's really neat.
Yeah.
So it's fun to be part of.
So the one thing that I always lived by was don't be a jerk on camera. Let the Scientologists do that.
Yeah.
That's why I
I
had a couple of years of really amazing footage of them coming up saying, "What are your crimes, Mark? What are your crimes?" And bull baiting me. Um, they would say horrible things, and I would just let them talk. Um, and that's the way you get good footage, really. You know, let them hang themselves. So
which unfortunately they don't do anymore. Now,
yeah,
believe it or not, in LA, the entire city is shut down for
yeah,
Scientology. So I mean, but that happened even before the live streamers. They weren't shut down with all the windows shut down. That happened with live
mm,
streamers, but they weren't really talking to us for years. They
yeah.
Miscavige shut that down.
Cool.
Uh-oh, we better let them go. Well, anyway, it's been wonderful talking to you, Mark. Thank you so much for everything you have done and you're going to do, because I know you're going to do some fun, surprising things.
Well, I love you, Magooski.
I love you too, Bunky. All
All
right.
right.
Well, thank you for doing my first interview.
Very exciting. I'm glad I could be here for this auspicious debut.
I know. It's pretty cool. All right. Thank you all for being a part of it. And I'm going to end it off so Mark can go to bed.
Thank you. I got to go to the grocery store yet, though.
I knew it.
My
I
cats
knew
are
it.
saying cat food, so I got
Oh,
to get
you
there
have
before
a
they
cat?
close.
I
Yeah, I've
didn't know
got a
you had
couple cats.
a. Oh,
Yeah, they're behaving too. I thought
very.
they'd be popping up on camera more. Um, I guess they're too hungry to move, so
You've got to
I
go
better
get him food.
I better go get them food.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll do this again sometime.
All
And
right,
thank you for doing it. All right.
bye.
Cheers.